Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to beautiful Bihao, Panama. Welcome to another moment. Welcome to the Crystal Crawford Show. I'm glad you're here. If you guys are watching live, I am sitting on the balcony of an incredible condo here in Bihao. You can probably hear the background noise. We've got a combination of ocean waves and construction and air conditioners. But I have to give a huge, huge shout out to Andres' sister, Paola, for the invitation to come here. This is technically her place. Um, Not even technically, this is her place. She told us that we could come up here for a couple of days. And I did not know that you could have something this beautiful and have this as your everyday. So I'm happy to welcome you here. And I was looking for a way to show you the view while still having some light and some Wi-Fi. So hopefully it communicates. This week's episode is called Manifestation and Actualization. Basically, what's the difference and how do you use them? And it was interesting sitting here looking at it because it's really going to be more of a show of stories than it is definitions. And hey, everybody, I see you. Hi, Lene. Hi, Parisa. Hi, Shauna. Hey, Christina. Hi, Dominique. So, the difference between the two is actually very simple. And basically, this manifestation means how it shows up. And most of the time, the way people are using the word is, I'm going to manifest this. But that's not how it works. Manifestation are the questions that you ask and the requests that you make of the universe that allow things to show up in a way as if by magic. Actualization are the choices that you make to actualize something into the world. And so I'm actually going to use, hey, you guys, hi, Nancy, hi, Maxine. I'm going to use our process that we are actually in right this very second to illustrate it. And if you guys have any questions about the difference between these two with what you would like to create, will you put the comments in the chat and I will talk about them. Also, right after this show, if you guys don't know, I'm going to be live again just for you. And it's going to be in the Crystal Crawford Show Lounge on Facebook. I'm basically going to hop off one StreamYard into the next one, into that group. So if you do have even more questions, you can come over there, and I'm literally just going to be hanging out with you doing Q&Q. Coming here to this condo has given me a whole different awareness of what I can choose and ask for. And so we've been here for a couple of days, and it's sinking in that this can be my everyday. So as we've been here, what I've been allowing myself to have is a change of realities. Now, for me, that's part of manifestation, is allowing my reality to shift into, what if this could be possible? What would it take for this to be possible? Now, I can look back over every single thing that's shown up in my life and actually most likely find the moment where I started to ask for it. When we first came to Panama, and we were getting settled, and we chose to stay, and we're still there, by the way, chose to stay in that really fancy condo building in downtown Panama City. One of the moments I had was when it hit me that every single thing that I'd ever asked for in life, basically, like, what would it take to have a private chef? What would it take to have a driver? What would it take to have somebody to assist me around the house? What would it take to have a beautiful modern place to live? I mean, I could look around and every single thing that I'd ever asked for in something in my life had shown up. Now, what was interesting to me, and this is the thing about manifestation, is that it showed up probably 20 years after I asked for it. And I think that's worth mentioning because in the reality of the universe contributing to what it is that you want, there's no time. The universe doesn't do time. The universe just does what's possible. And you have no idea what the universe is going to need to rearrange on your behalf in order for you to have that showing up. And so, the number of things that needed to be rearranged in my personal world, in my, structure of beliefs and all of those things was pretty staggering. Like, I needed to go through 2 marriages, 2 divorces, find access consciousness, travel the world for a while, use the tools before I'd be even willing to have what it was I was asking for. So, worth mentioning that you don't know how long it's going to take for some of what you want to show up. You don't know how many forests and beams that the universe has to float down the Yangtze River in order to build your castle, right? So what I would say is, like, anything you want to have, ask for it. Part 2 of that is going to be a series of things that don't have any particular order. Part 2 is really going to be a universe of things that you really need to do in order for it to show up. And one of those things is to really be patient. Now, the trick for any humanoid being patient is having too much going on. That's the trick. Like, if you actually want to access patience in your world, you got to have too many things going on. So I had completely forgotten about the fact that I never asked for a driver or a personal chef. I was just busy living. But the universe doesn't forget stuff like that. And it's not even about forgetting. It's like, you've already asked for it, so it's there. It's showing up, whether you remember it or not. So that's one of the keys to, like, working with the universe, is being patient. And you achieve patience by choice, but also by just having too many things going on. I would say another thing is to really start to cultivate awareness of the universe really having your back. Now, I've never really liked that phrase. If you listen to back on any of my shows, I almost never say that. The universe has your back. I never say that. But what I'm starting to get is that I have watched thing after thing after thing after thing I've asked for show up. In fact, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was hanging out a lot with my friend Stephanie Richardson at her place. And I think I've told this story before, but I was recognizing that a lot of her reality was asking for things and them showing up as if by magic. Like, she really functions from manifesting her reality. And I recognized also that I didn't do that as much as she did. And so I remember going on a walk one day and saying to myself that I made a demand to myself that at that moment, I was going to start to see if ask and receive really was a reality. And I started to ask the universe to show me how it supported me. Again, 2 more asks, right? I was manifesting something different in my life. So from that moment on, I just started asking for way more things. Like, I remember being, the next morning I was driving to the grocery store, and I just said to myself, I'm like, well, what can I ask for today that I haven't asked for before? And so I would sort of take myself on an asking game. Now, of course, most of that stuff I forget. I don't even know what I asked for. So that's one of the things about manifesting that you kind of have to get, is that probably, everything that's showing up in your life is something you've chosen or asked for. Most of what's showing up in your life, you forgot that you ever asked for, and probably most of it you didn't even ask for consciously. I was reading this little lifestyle magazine that I think is from an Air France flight. Anyway, I found it in here. And there's this article in here about a landscape designer who lives in Maui. Now, I wasn't planning on including this in the episode, but here's how the universe works. I'm flipping through this magazine before the show starts, and I see this stunning photo of Maui. And then, what's this about? So I start reading it, and it's about a landscape designer who lives in Maui. And I was like, I'd forgotten about this, but as soon as I read Maui, the words Maui, I remembered in my 20s, I had taken a trip to Maui, and then just fallen in love with it. Maui is stunning. It's a volcano, but also, like, has all these beautiful resorts on it. It's very similar to here, except this is like paradise. I can't even with this. And I remember being there for a week and going, what does it even take to live somewhere like this? Because at 26, I was just coming out of, living with my mom. And we had lived in the middle of suburban Colorado, and I had a very capped income. I was, I think just started to waitress, and so whatever. I wasn't making that much money. And I'd gone on this trip at the invitation of a boyfriend at the time, so he paid for it. But I was walking around this stunning place going, gosh, people live here. Like, what would that even take? And I didn't know the questions then. Didn't know. Anyway, so I'm reading in this magazine, Maui, and I'm looking at this guy's house in Maui. And it's beautiful. Like, he's had an architect design this. And then I'm looking around where I am right now, and I'm like, this is beautiful. And I was realizing, like, I didn't know what it would take to be able to live anywhere I wanted to live. But 8 or 9 years ago, I started to ask. And it's showing up. I mean, that's the thing that's really soaked in over this last 2 days, is that I can literally live anywhere I want. Because I've created it, that I manifested and actualized a way of having that. So the universe has both contributed and shown me, and things have shown up as if by magic. And I've also taken the steps and made the choices and taken the action steps to have this as well. And so that soaked in a different way. I started to ask for this when I probably started earlier, but I started to ask for this in my 20s. And then life occurs and you start choosing and you're just doing the best you can with the choices you have available. And then choice by choice by choice by choice by choice, stuff starts showing up as if by magic. Oh my gosh. Parisa said, are there people who can't manifest? I've been asking for so many things that haven't shown up yet. No, there are not people that can't manifest. So the only things that I see two things that could be going on for somebody that's decided that I'm asking for things and things aren't showing up is a decision. That's not actually a question. And one of the things I had to train myself in very, very early into the tools was to go beyond what I had decided was working and what I had decided wasn't working. I was coming out of a reality when I first found Access Consciousness where I was used to basing things on proof. So I came out of a very, very religious background. And even if you weren't active in religion, but like your culture is very religious minded and whatever, you probably have some of this too. A religious culture, whether it includes church or not, is based on belief. Now, belief requires proof in order to exist. Knowing doesn't require proof. You just know, and you don't need any proof to know, and you don't need it validated. Knowing is a whole different universe. But I was raised in and had cultivated a reality of belief, which means I came into the tools of Access Consciousness looking for the belief of whether or not they worked, not knowing what was working and what wasn't. Now, I say that because I think it's important to articulate and sort of look at where you might be functioning from. To train myself in knowing, I had to get better and stronger in question. When you start to ask for something and you don't see the proof of it showing up, then one of the first things that you want to do naturally, if you aren't totally skilled in question and knowing, is you want to negate you. So you must be wrong because things aren't showing up. And that's one of the first places we go. What question is that? Is it actually true that you're wrong? Is it true that you did something wrong? Is it true that you... Well, if it's not light, it's not true. Which means somewhere in there, you aren't actually looking for the awareness of what you've created. You're looking for the proof of what you've created. So how many of you are looking for the proof of what you've created rather than a sense of the energy of what you've created? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that's the clearing statement, by the way. So clearingstatement.com if you want more info on that. But proof and knowing are in two different universes. So here's how I handle it now. when I've asked for something and it kind of keeps kind of pinging back around into my world of like, it doesn't actually occur anymore. So now I'm looking at it. Okay, if I've asked for something and it keeps coming back into my mind, or I'm doing stress and pressure about it, I know that I'm not doing asking. I'm doing projections and expectations. So one of the first things I do with myself now that I'm like 9 years into the tools, I POC and pod, so you destroy and uncreate all of my projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections about how it shows up, that it shows up, when it shows up, everything that is times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And it's as I'm talking that I'm sort of getting the information about this. When you truly ask for something, most of the time you're going to forget that you asked. That's probably one of the signs. If you are obsessing about what you've asked for, you're not doing ask, you're doing projections and expectations. Projections and expectations can only create three things, and it's not what you asked for. They can only create separation, judgment, and rejection. So if you're just in the beginning stages of asking for things, because I really, really, really didn't do this very well at all, and I'm still like learning all the time. You might have to do a lot of what would it take for fill in the blank to show up with ease. And then all my projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections, I destroy it and create all that. Times a gazillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So it's not that you can't manifest. It may be that you're unwilling to not have control. And the thing about control is that it's an illusion. You don't have control anyway. Like, there's no possible way I could have controlled this place into our world. First of all, I didn't even know this place existed on the planet. I did not know that this place existed in the country that we just moved to. I did not. So it's like the list of things that I didn't know were even possible for me, it was staggering. So I couldn't have controlled this into my universe. And on top of that, I started asking for this 20 years ago. So remembering that and keeping that in the front of my head would have been impossible. But the universe doesn't have a short memory. The universe doesn't work from time or memory. It works from the energy of it. And I've been the energy of what would it take for this to show up for a really long time, but I haven't tried to control it into existence. So I would really look into your world of like, are you trying to do control? And if you are, maybe POC and pod yourself. Everywhere I'm doing control. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. I will add to this, though, the other half of the conversation, which is actualization, because there are choices to make to actualize energies into the world. And to me, that also starts with a question. So, for example, since we've been up here, we are choosing to move up here. Now, originally, this all has gone on in the last 48 hours. I just want to be clear about that. And I'm going to be talking about it like way back when, 48 hours ago, when that became a remote possibility. We started with, okay, cool, our lease is up in 3 months, and maybe in 3 months I'll travel to Colombia. I'm going to get a surgery on my eyes. I'll get the surgery, we'll come back, and we can start our Bihao adventure, right? That was our first possible plan. And we've been here, we've been down at the pools, we've been enjoying the space, just letting it change us, because that's what the earth does, it changes you. And then today we were down in the pool. I know, awful. And we both looked at each other and we were like, why are we waiting? And I said, I don't have any good. So I said, well, what would it even take how quickly could this occur? So we started kind of talking about the different things that we need to get in place. We need a car. We need to get our driver's licenses here in Panama, which is a little bit of a process. We need car insurance. We need to talk to the place about subletting our other place, see if that's okay. We need to find a subletter. We need to talk to his sister. We need to have some conversations and just see. Based on all of those actions, we're going to get more information, and then we'll be able to make a choice based on the information. But those right there are the action steps required to actualize this ask into our world. And without those action steps, we could be sitting on the couch asking, what would it take to have a stunning place by the water with total ease till we're blue in the face? But now it's shown up. Here it is. Now all we have to do to obtain it and have it is make some choices. And that's it. That's literally like how you create your whole life. And so what I've been looking at, and actually what I wanted to invite you guys to via infinitebeingschool.com or crystaljoycrawford.com/3-day money challenge is the 3-day money challenge, because it's not as much of a challenge as I've done in the past. It's called Do It Wrong, Do It Badly, Do It Anyway 3-day money challenge. To be honest with you, I probably should have called it something like the 3-day immersion into receiving, because that's more what it is. What I'm getting is like, the more willing I become to immerse myself and open myself as wide and spacious as the earth is. Like, I don't know if you can get a sense of that ocean out there and how much space it is, but it's immense. It's an immense amount of space. It's an immense possibility, immense energy, immense creativity. The more willing I am to be that, the more the asks emerge and the choices come with ease. And I don't do the significance and the lack and the scarcity and the stuff that goes with trying to get money. I choose more ease and joy and glory when I'm being that. So when I was creating this challenge, I was like, I really want to immerse us into opening and widening and asking for more and using the tools that actually allow us to question, is that compressive thing even ours? Because in a manifesting, actualizing reality, in a reality where ask and receive is true, you can't get there from compressing. And if you guys ever study the How to Become Money workbook, that's the whole conversation in that workbook. You cannot actualize a flow of money from needing it or lacking it or trying to get it or thinking that you have to control it into your world. None of those create a flow of money. Maybe you guys have noticed that. What creates a flow of money is knowing, being, knowing, perceiving, receiving, choosing, asking, actualizing. That's what creates money. From there, you can have anything. And so that's what I've been practicing in the last 5 years, is that. And so my reality keeps getting greater because I keep asking for more. I keep being willing to choose and choose and choose and choose and choose and fuck it up and do it wrong, do it badly, do it anyway, actualizing where I can and how I can and what I see to choose and put my hand to, asking for more, choosing, putting into place new systems for money so I can have more money everywhere and accumulate it all over the place, step by choice, inventing a different reality, which is how a different reality is created. You're inventing it as you go. And getting to those moments where, okay, well, this is not enough for me. What else can I ask for? Which is a constant humanoid thing. This isn't enough for me. What else can I ask for? Is humanoid reality. And then getting to that moment and going, yeah, what is a bigger life for me? So that's what I've been asking lately. Universe, will you show me what a bigger life is for me? This is a part of that. We got here and I was like, oh my God, I actually have available to me the choice for living as if my life was a vacation here with the retirees and the expat, retirees. Except I get to do it now. Oh my God, I created this. And that, I think, is another piece of really harnessing your abilities with manifestation and actualization, is starting to look at How have you created the other things that have shown up in your life? Because what I'm recognizing is like, again, with this place has given me so much awareness. I started to recognize, you know what, this is a way I've always created. The people around me have always just wanted to take care of me or whoever I was with. They just have wanted to gift to me and us. And that's how this came. She just gifted us this. That's money. And this experience, the choice to say yes and receive it, has gifted us a totally different reality. And that's one of the ways I create. And I was like, wow, how else can I have this? How else can I have a bigger life and a bigger reality that I haven't even considered? Another question, another ask. Universe, show me how I can have a bigger life that I haven't even considered. So guess who's already working on my behalf? The universe. Universe, show me what I've asked for so many things lately. And that's what I would ask you. What have you asked for lately that you're very conscious of? And maybe what have you asked for lately that you haven't been as conscious of? When you function as the question, how does it get worse than this? Or you function as the conclusion of, well, this will never work, or any conclusion whatsoever, you just get more of that. But when you add or change to functioning from a different question, then the universe contributes that. And that would be what I would ask you guys is like, what questions can you start really asking that would invite the universe to show you what it is that you want to know? Universe, would you show me this? The other day, I wish I could remember this. I was asking for something I don't think I ever thought you could ask for. And it was something like, I don't even remember. The part that I remember is that I was sitting there asking for it going, I didn't even think I could ask for this. And then I was like, well, what if you could ask for anything? And it was something like, universe, will you show me how this functions for me? But you can ask for anything. Universe, will you show me what it takes to have total consciousness? Universe, will you show me what it takes to have more money than God? Will you show me what more money than God is for me? Uh, Look, manifestation and actualization are not mysterious. They're the way that things actually work for you. What you got to start to do is look for, is start like investigating yourself, investigating how it works for you. What have you already asked for that has shown up what you're living now? What could you start to ask for that would show up what you'd like to live now and in the future? And the actualization part of what choices can you make to have it? When it comes to totally changing your reality, it's going to take what it takes. Would you be willing to commit to that, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes, no matter how many choices it takes, no matter how many things the universe has to show you and bring you and change for you on your behalf? And what could you add to your life to have more ease? So definitely go to theinfinitebeingschool.com. That is a free lifetime membership that I built for you. It's awesome. There's a back to basics course in there for you that's not basic. It's like every single tool you could ever use to change your life. There's a 30 by 30 you can start doing now, called the Awareness Challenge, which is one of the things I started to use, which is you ask that question 30 times a day for 30 days, and so the universe can contribute to you. That was one of the first things I started using to be able to actualize what I'm living now. And then there's a Telegram chat where I am literally I'm doing a live stream in Telegram every single day, contributing morning change to whoever joins me. All of that's my gift to you. Then when you sign up, or if you're already a member, you are now getting member discounts. And so the 3-day money challenge that we start in real time in 48 hours. And if you're watching this in the future, you can still play crystaljoycrawford.com/3-day money challenge. You get a very different price if you're a member. So start there. What can you add to your life to change where you're functioning from? To invite yourself to a different way of functioning with your life, which will fruit in money. And that's it for now. So if you guys are live, jump over with me to the Facebook group for a live Q&Q, the Crystal Crawford Show Lounge now on Facebook. And if you're watching this in the future and you loved it and you think a friend would get something out of it, share it and like it, comment on it, leave a 5-star, leave any kind of review on iTunes, and I will see you guys next week.